was in the country of Haiti trying to help some friends of mine who were undergoing a pretty serious circumstance. There was people going around robbing and shooting people that believed in Jesus. And so as a former police officer, I knew that I could help them. And so with me and two of my friends, we got on a plane, we flew all the way down to the country of Haiti to install a security system so that I could help keep their orphanage safe. Well, the night that we arrived, after 2 days without sleep, we got there, and as we went to bed finally, about 45 minutes after going to sleep, there's someone beating on my bedroom door trying to get in. They're yelling at me in a language I can't understand. And I just thought to myself, what in the world is going on? So I start yelling at him, I'm coming, and I go to the door, and as I opened up that door, the guy stuck the gun through the door and put it right against my forehead. Now, as you may already see, as a martial artist, I'm probably pretty well trained, but not only am I trained that way as a law enforcement officer, I'm trained to take that gun, and I feel fairly confident I can do it every time. But there was something about that night that just made me stop. As I got ready to do what I'm trained to do and I got ready to take that gun, I heard a voice, an audible voice, clear as day in English, and it said, "Don't do it, surrender." And I just paused, and I'm like, what? And then I heard it again, "Don't do it, surrender." That was the first time in my entire life that I fully put my faith and trust in God. I said, "God, this one's all you." So I put my hands in the air, I let the gunman shove me in the room. They shoved me down onto the floor and slammed me down onto my face. They held a gun to the back of my head, and they just started ransacking the room and just demanding money, money, money. As I laid there just praying, "God, I need you, God, I need you." The gunmen were doing all kinds of things, but one of the gunmen came up and he decided he wanted my wedding ring. He grabbed a hold of my ring and he started yanking on it. He was pulling on it so hard he was dragging my body across the floor. I thought my finger was actually going to get pulled off my hand. And then finally I just kind of motioned for him that I was going to help him, and I was able to wet my finger enough to get my ring off, and I handed it to him. At this point I just laid there continually on my face, just praying that God would get involved. "God, I need you. God, I need you." That's the point when God kind of stepped in. You see, I felt the gunman grab my hands and they squeezed them, and I thought, now what are they going to do to me? So I looked up from where I was at, and as I looked up, there wasn't anyone in front of me, but someone that I couldn't see was squeezing my hands. At this point, my body became completely limp. I lost all ability to care what was going on. A joy fell down upon my body that I can't explain. There's no English word in the language that I could possibly use that would explain what kind of joy that was. But from that moment, for the next hour and 45 minutes, these guys tied me up, they took me outside, they held me in execution position, and just demanded more money. But the whole time, I just didn't care, because I knew that God was in control, that there's nothing these gunmen could possibly do. About an hour and 45 minutes later, these gunmen decided that they had had enough. They shoved me back inside the house they took me out of, and it was at that point I thought at least they were going to shoot me inside, because then no one else would have to see it. But they didn't shoot. They just took off running. You see, the reality is that when we put our faith and trust in Jesus, when we go all in, we know that we have Him on our side. There are going to be things in our lives that are going to trip us up. There's going to be things in our lives that challenge us. There's going to be things in our lives that cause us to want to doubt. But the reality is that He'll never leave us. He'll never forsake us. He's there every moment of every day. And on that very moment that night, He was there to hold my hands to get me through.